Welcome to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
All right. Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the Dever Team Studios. We're brought to you by Chad Bar Law, assisting injured veterans get the help they deserve. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036, or visit protectingvets.com. You can also call Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636. We're taking your calls as well, 844-580-9326, 844-580-WDBO 9326, or you can use the open mic feature on the WDBO app. Once again, I am Andrew Phegley, AP_Knightline on Twitter. Got Big Ben Stout here with me at Big Social 32 on Twitter, and got Roger Phipps at Night Bengal from the Santa Rosa Beach Studios. And you can find all the rest of our content on nightlinesports.com. We're talking UCF sports, Knightline. Nightline. Yeah, it's in the name. And we're into the second week of spring football, which is a really big deal. We just had some basketball action that was kind of a big deal with the women's basketball, all kinds of sports stuff going on. So we're going to talk about that. Ben, let's talk about the women's basketball. Number one, big injury last night for Diamond Battles. Or not last night. This was Monday night, I guess, right? Was it Monday?
Yeah, it was yesterday afternoon.
It was. Yep. Okay, I'm all messed up.
It was a little bit late afternoon, so
I think it's Friday for some reason. I don't know why. It's Tuesday. Okay, so yeah, it was an early afternoon game. You guys, Roger and Ben, were texting in this group conversation.
It was like 4 o'clock.
Yeah, and I'm like, what?
4, yeah.
Oh, I forgot the game was on. All right, so Diamond Battles, who is pretty much the star player. I mean, the leader, the star player.
She's the heart and soul of the team, for sure.
Team. That's a good way to say it. Was injured, had some kind of a knee injury or something, and it was just horrible. But the cool thing is, I looked at Twitter, and the outpouring of support for her is amazing.
Yeah.
From everywhere, from teams that we've never even dealt with, from coaches, from fans, even some fans from the other school over there over west.
Yeah.
Were saying nice things about her, which is crazy as far as I'm concerned. But unbelievable support for her, and she says she'll be back next year and healthy and stronger than ever. And I don't doubt that. That girl has like super fire, and she gets going. She's very active out there.
And I think that's the reason why that you saw the outpouring of support, is because even from, as you mentioned, like players across the country, teams across the country that we don't normally or even haven't even interacted with, you can see it. And when the games are on TV or when you just watch Diamond Battles play, I mean, she is just very intense. She's as we just said, the heart and soul of the team, but she really plays great defense. She's very active and she makes great plays out there, but also just her demeanor and the way she carries herself on the court, just, wants to do, she seems like the type of player, and she is the type of player that just wants to do anything that she possibly can to help her team win. And it was evident in the beginning of that game yesterday. And to see her go down was just heartbreaking. I believe she went down at the middle of the second quarter or the beginning of the second quarter. Regardless, it was in the first half. And it was really hard for UCF to kind of remain, poised and kind of in the game from that point forward. They still fought hard and tried their best, and they made a couple runs in the second half to get it close, but unfortunately we fell short without our leader on the court.
I got a weird question for you, Ben, and you may know the answer to this, you may not.
Sure.
It's just it's an Andrew question.
All right.
And you know that I throw them from left field every once in a while. And I'll always
the answer's green.
I'll always ask somebody, do you know the answer to this question? Do you know why they play 4 quarters instead of 2 halves like men's college basketball does?
So I don't know the specific reason why, but I do know that is relatively recent, and as in within the last decade, they made that switch from 2 halves, 2 20-minute halves to
weird.
to the 10-minute quarters. Yeah,
it's weird.
And I don't know, maybe even Roger knows the reason why, or at least one of the reasons why they used it to make that switch. But it was something that was relatively recent, back when I was playing in school. The men's and women's were the same amount of time as far as two halves go.
Interesting, very interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I mean, basically what the reason they changed it was there was a movement across college athletics to mirror what the NBA was doing. And there was a movement among the NBA as well as the college teams to do that. And the women's teams went ahead and approved it. There was a push within the men's teams, but that the traditionalists kind of won out on that. But originally they wanted to move everybody to 4 quarters. It just didn't happen that way.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I'm glad they didn't either.
I like
think
the two halves.
They do it well with the media timeouts every 3.5 minutes or so. I mean, I think the way the structure is in the men's basketball, I like the two halves as well. I'm glad they kept it.
Some news in men's. Oh, okay. Well, I should tell you the score, I guess. 60. They played Northwestern in the NCAA tournament. Northwestern Wildcats were a number 7 seed, and UCF was a number 10 seed. So technically, I guess, if you look at the seeds, this was supposed to happen.
Right.
So Northwestern won 62-51.
But here's the thing, and if you watch the game and saw the stats afterwards, we out-rebounded them like crazy. And when we talked about this last week, one of the things I'd mentioned is that we needed to push the ball down low, right? That's where we had our advantage. And unfortunately, after Diamond Battles went down in the second half, for whatever reason, we did not push into the paint. We were within a couple points. We had the lead of 4 points back and forth all of the first half. And the ladies did make a late run to get points late, but it just didn't happen for them. But I don't know why they went away from that. We had the advantage in the bigs. Masami Kaba again came up big. She was the leading scorer. And it just kind of shook my head, because I think the ladies could have and should have won this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Roger. I mean, we definitely went away from getting the ball down low. It was working in the first quarter, and it was and continually in the first half. We certainly had the advantage there. And then the other thing I would say that we really struggled with in this game, and give credit to Northwestern's defense, but we had a lot of turnovers. We had 20 turnovers in this game, a lot of them in the first half. And so that really hurt us. And I guess that also could point towards Diamond Battles, not having another really good ball handler on the floor. And then lastly, I'd say Northwestern had a player in Lindsay Pulliam that went off for 25 points. She was spectacular in that game yesterday, and she just kind of carried them to victory. And it's unfortunate that UCF wasn't able to get their first win as a program in the NCAA tournament. The men's were able to finally check that box a few years ago, and I was really hoping they were able to do it this year. But once again, Coach Abe has that's her second straight, since we didn't have the tournament last year. That's her second straight at-large bid in the NCAA tournament. So that's just really impressive job what she's done building this program, and it seems to be really set up for the future as well.
Yeah, and to have Diamond Battles back, a few people back on that team that were really good this year,
for sure,
should be an excellent team next year. Even more experience out there. Men's basketball obviously didn't make any of the tournaments this year. Wasn't that great of a year, but recruiting is happening. And you mentioned earlier before we went on about a couple of guys that they just recruited recently. One in particular.
Yeah, that's right. We just got commitments over the weekend from a set of twin brothers out of Calvary Christian Academy, which is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And one of them, they're the Hendricks brothers. One of them in particular is a 4-star recruit. So now coming in with Darius Johnson next season, a 4-star point guard that's coming in the class of 2021. Now we have, with these twin brothers, one of them being a 6'8" power forward in Taylor Hendricks. He is also a 4-star that has a massive offer list from a lot of top basketball schools, including a couple, as you always like to point out when we do this in football recruiting, a couple of Ivy League schools that I think that points to the type of student that he is. But I mean, you look at his offer list where he chose UCF over Florida, Florida State, Iona, Iowa State, LSU, Miami, Penn, the Cows over there in Tampa, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, Yale, Memphis, Notre Dame, Western Kentucky. I mean, these are all almost every school on that list have had a lot of success in basketball. So getting this guy, a 4-star recruit, 6'8", he's a little bit less than 200 pounds right now, but he's real slick with the basketball as far as the tape I've been able to watch on him. He is tenacious around the boards. He's very athletic. He's got a mid-range jumper. I'm excited to see him come in a couple years. Obviously, we got to wait for him, but the future again is bright with Darius Johnson coming in next year. And that goes with a cast of characters.
Oh, so these guys are class of 22.
These guys are class of 22. Yeah. So we got to wait a couple years for these guys, but it just shows you, again, we're building momentum in recruiting with Johnny Dawkins, just the way he's building this program. You know, we got a lot of sophomores, juniors in next season that are going to be impact players for us. And then, of course, we got an impact freshman coming in with the point guard position. And so these guys will hopefully continue to build upon that foundation. Hopefully we could take a big step forward next year and they can come in and do as well.
Well, Johnny Dawkins is turning up the heat on the recruiting for sure.
He is, yeah.
Because at first, the first few years that he was here, he wasn't doing much. And I don't know why that was. Maybe he thought that he wasn't going to stick around. Maybe, I don't know. But
I think just to quickly answer that point, I think he really concentrated on the transfers in the first couple of years because he realized what he had in BJ Taylor and Taco Fall and all those guys. He's like, I got to get a couple extra pieces in here immediately to make an impact. But he has definitely established that with Darren Green Jr., Tony Johnson, a couple others, Jameel Reynolds, and of course Isaiah Adams, who had a great season this year. He's starting to come on strong in recruiting, and people need to understand 2 4-star recruits coming here in the next 2 years. We've only had like 1 or 2 4-star players get recruited out of high school to come to UCF. And I believe the other 4-star that comes to mind didn't even play here.
Wound up
transferring
Adams?
immediately.
Was
He's a 3-star.
He was a 3-star.
Same with Darren Green. Same with Tony Johnson. Same with Jameel Reynolds. I mean, these are all 3-star guys that have risen up.
And as far as transfers, the one guy this year,
CJ Walker was a 5-star. Yeah,
yeah.
so he obviously is the only 5-star that's ever played on our roster. But Taylor Hendricks, he's a guy I'm really looking forward to. Tyler Hendricks is a good shooting guard. That's his twin brother. So getting both of those guys to come in, I think is a big deal. And in a couple of years, we'll see.
Well, I love to see, like you pointed out, I love to see these guys that have, Penn and Yale and stuff like that, because that means that these kids are smart. Now, you can't go play at Yale or Penn and not academically qualify to be at that school.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I mean, you can't just be a basketball player and not be smart to get offers like this. So intelligence on the football field, on the basketball court, on the baseball diamond, on the soccer pitch, wherever it is, that is important. Intelligence is a really big deal. And I think that you'll see that from him and some of these other guys, that we've noted have been recruited by the Ivy League. So.
And one last thing I'll say about basketball before we wrap that up is there's a chance. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save that for my hot take.
Okay, we'll save that. We'll save that for a bit. All right. We're going to take a break here, and we'll be right back on Knightline at Night.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Knightline at Night. This is Andrew Phegley, live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barlaw. Got Big Ben Stout here with me and Roger Phipps. We're talking UCF sports. And let's talk about football really quick.
Yeah.
Into the second week of spring football, last Saturday, there was an open practice that I had no idea that was even there, which is amazing to me. I have no idea how I missed it. I was doing other things, thank goodness, or I would have really been upset.
You're still a little upset.
I am a little bit upset. I'm a little bit upset. Yes, I am. That I didn't know about this. No media, notification or anything, but whatever. It is what it is. I don't know. Who knows how exciting that would have been to be out there just to see a practice in the stadium. I don't know. But here's what Gus Malzahn had to say about the first week of practice.
Just looking at the first week, feel very good about players' attitude, effort, approach, coach me, coach attitude. I really think we've came a long way in that area since the very first day. Today was really the first practice we've had in the stadium. It was more of 11 on 11. Wasn't any live tackling. We'll get to that next week. But I think we let all three groups. We've been operating with three groups, letting everybody play. We have not installed a whole lot offensively. We've not installed a whole lot defensively. That was by design too, so we could build a foundation. We're evaluating our guys. I think we got some good information after the first week. But overall, I'm real pleased with just our attitude, our approach as a team. Feels good, with 1 week under our belt.
All right, well, that's good, of course. From what I hear, all the coaches love it here. All the kids love the coaches. So that's a great thing. That was the biggest thing that I was worried about, I think, is maybe, some kids not really, being super excited about Gus. But I think after they met him, just like the rest of us, after we saw his introductory press conference and all that, they probably, warmed up to him really quick. He's just such a cool dude. So,
Yeah, you hear a lot about buy-in, and even Travis Williams even talked about it today in his press conference after the fifth practice, that he's just so excited to see players that are, he called it right away. He said, they're bought in. He didn't say we're trying to get them to buy in or they're buying in. They're bought in. And so that's really good to hear the attitude that this team is putting forth towards this new coaching staff and the new program that we're trying to build. Speaking
of the open practice, here real quick is a clip with Gus talking about that open practice and kind of how it came about.
I think more than anything, it's, we're coming this thing new, and, I just want to make sure our fan base, our students, they feel ownership in what we're doing. Because, like I said, we're fixed to do something that we're putting ourselves out there. I think everybody knows that. But it's going to take all of us. And so, really, more than anything, it was good. We had a pretty good crowd for 24 hours notice right there, so that wasn't bad. And, I think you'll see that grow. But more than anything is to give them ownership of what we're doing and where we're going.
Yeah, I think you'll see that grow once the stadium opens up for real games, and hopefully we have full capacity this year for football games, because I don't think Gus is. I mean, yes, he played in the SEC and all those stadiums that are packed full, but our little bounce house stadium is insane when it's on fire.
It is a different environment.
When it's going, it's one of the best environments for college football, period. I don't care how small it is. I don't care how big it is. It is absolutely insane when it is packed. I still remember that game with
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati was awesome, but the South Florida one a couple of years ago,
yes, of course,
was just insane. That place, everybody was wearing black. It was a blackout, and I think that Cincinnati game was too. But for me, it was that Black Friday game. It was just packed in there. I mean, you couldn't get any more people in there, and it was just it was electric. It was absolutely awesome. So I'm hoping to get back to that. We will look forward to that. Roger, you got anything real quick?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's BYU game also comes to mind in 2014. That was a pretty solid game, but I agree with you. Just getting back in there and getting everyone situated is going to be amazing. There is there's been some rumors circulating recently that the Boise State game might be moved to a Thursday night. So that's something to kind of take a look at. But outside of that, man, when we get back in, play Boise State, we have a full stadium. It's going to be rocking, whether it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It doesn't matter. Everybody's going to be out there.
Yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait for that. Definitely excited.
Be out there stomping our feet. Get ready to go. Oh,
and
my
I would say the
wait.
South Carolina game was a big one too.
Oh yeah,
because
that was hot.
Game,
oh my,
it was super hot. It was cloudy, but I got sunburnt like so bad. I think it was 2013 or something. Yeah. But it was crazy. It was packed in there. I think it was one of the first games on like ABC or something like that in the era of the last couple of years. All right, we're going to take another break. We'll be right back, and we'll talk more about football on Knightline at Night.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Knightline at Night. I'm Andrew Phegley. We're live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Bar Law, assisting injured veterans to get the help they deserve. Call Chad at 407-599-9036, or you can visit protectingvets.com or chadbarlaw.com. And you can call Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636, or you can call us. Rather you call us, honestly, right now. 844-580-9326. 844-580-9326 is the number to get a hold of us. Or you can use the open mic feature in the WDBO app. I am Andrew Phegley, AP_Knightline on Twitter. Got Big Ben Stout here with me at Big Social 32. Roger Phipps at Night Bengal from the Santa Rosa Beach studios, and you can find all the rest of our content on nightlinesports.com. We're talking UCF sports. Talked a little bit of basketball in the first part of the show. Talked a little bit of football. We'll talk a lot more football, obviously. And then who knows? We may talk a little bit of baseball because that's still going on.
We're there in the thick of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So softball is going as well. But football into spring practice week number 2 today. Yesterday, I believe, was the first practice of that. So is there anybody that you guys are really looking forward to see develop this year? Maybe somebody that we saw a little bit of last year, but somebody that maybe you're looking to take the next step or to have a breakout season.
When you just asked that question, the first player that came to mind, and maybe it's just because I watched the press coverage with Travis Williams today, and I'm just so excited as him as our defensive coordinator and our linebackers coach, is Eric Gilliard. Like, I'd love to see some progression out of him. I mean, I think he had a great freshman year, and he didn't necessarily take a step back last year. He was solid, but when he was healthy, but I think that he's probably poised under the new coaching staff, and kind of a different philosophy from a linebacker position. Seeing Eric Gilliard go out there and have a breakout year, it'd be interesting.
Roger?
For me, I'm going to say Devad Wilson. I think that our secondary is one of those areas that, unfortunately we lost a lot from, and we're backfilling with Francois, Devad Wilson, and some others. And, with Richie Grant, you're never going to replace him, but we need that field general back there, that aggressive person that can stop the run, and can also play and stop the pass. So I'd like to see him develop and turn into that safety that we were looking for going forward.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. The safety position, I've said the entire time, is the thing that I'm like the most worried about. That is the one thing I'd like to see. I just can't wait to see what the defense does in general, because that needs to step up a lot. After last year, especially the bad taste in our mouth still from the BYU game. Because there was definitely trouble going on.
Tatum Bethune mentioned that there were several players that still had the screenshot of the score at BYU in his interview on their cell phone. So it's clearly still in their minds.
Good. Yeah, because that needs to be, what they're thinking about when they're out there practicing, how they look like fools, basically.
You mentioned the defensive secondary, and the players that we have to replace. It's a tall task. The three guys, one of which didn't play last year, decided to opt out and take Gowan. But Richie Grant, Aaron Robinson, those three guys have been getting a lot of love from guys like Louis Riddick and these draft commentators and these guys that are in the know when it comes to the NFL draft. So those three guys seem to be climbing up draft boards right now. And so obviously as UCF fans, we're hoping nothing but the best and hopefully a high draft pick for those three guys.
Yeah, there was a big article
a
about those guys, right? This last week. I haven't still seen it yet, but I saw the headline or whatever, and people were
There was a
talking
bunch
about
of them. Yeah.
Well, do you know?
Well, the
Roger,
other thing to remember too, guys, is I know it was under less than favorable circumstances, but Antoine Collier, losing him was also a big hit for our secondary because he was expected to be an NFL player as well.
Losing all those guys that were involved in that situation was a big deal. So it went downhill from there. Although the first few weeks after that happened, they played really good. Defense. But then towards the end of the season, especially when the guys opted out that were going to go to the NFL, for the bowl game, it really, the doors fell off and it was bad.
Well, especially Richie. Once we lost Richie, it was tough.
I mean, that guy was such a great player anyway. Just with him not on the field is a huge deal.
And it's such a leader too, right? Of that team. So it was tough.
So we'll have to see. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say T-Will mentioned that in his press conference too, and something we all need to remember is last year a lot of these young guys who played at the end of the season and in the BYU game, they didn't even have the benefit of practice. They were doing Zoom calls for spring and summer, so when they came on, they didn't even have the benefit of actually going through the motions of the plays, and these are the same guys that were on the field at the end of the year. So guys like Derek Gaines, who showed a lot of promise at the end.
Corey Thornton too, yeah.
Yeah, that's saying a lot about those guys and being able to come in as freshmen, play at the end of the year, and really didn't have a spring or a summer ball to catch up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm also excited to see what happens for the running back position because that is going to be one that will be very, very interesting with some transfers coming in and then some guys that we already have. I'll be interested to see how they use now I can't remember his name. This is a perfect time for my brain to go blank. The guy
current player or
current player
Bentavious Thompson?
Bentavious Thompson, yes, thank you. Jeez. It happens. I was a football player. I took lots of hits.
It's all good, man.
I had lots of concussions, and now I'm feeling it.
Beno Thompson is one of those guys, though, like Dylan Gabriel and like who I just mentioned, Eric Gilliard, who have said in their press conference, they're like, it's kind of interesting now that we're the older guys in the room. We're the leaders. We're the kind of upperclassmen now, and we're looked at as the experience on this team. And so them embracing that role is kind of interesting and great, obviously from Dylan's standpoint, especially, but all those guys.
Yeah. If you remember a few weeks ago during my Tijuana Flats hot take of the week, I said that a running back would reach 1,000 yards this year. Now, will it be Bentavious Thompson or is it going to be somebody else? I don't know. Some of the transfer guys aren't even in practice yet. They'll come in later in the fall. So we don't even know about that. There's two of them that should be really good running backs.
Well, and RJ Harvey has the transfer that came in last year is getting a lot of play at the number 2, and his play seems to be closer to that pinball type of shorter stature, but very, very solid and massive human being who can push through the line as well. So it's not just Beno who's going to be out there he'll be the primary ball carrier as of now. I think that'll change by the end of the year, but it sounds like RJ Harvey in that second position will be that guy that'll wear defenses out because we know Malzahn likes to run the ball to wear defenses out.
Was he the guy that came from Virginia?
Yeah,
was
he was the ex-quarterback that came from Virginia.
But he's a fairly stout guy, I remember.
That's right.
What do you think about like the little guys? There's still Johnny Richardson, a little running back. I mean, I don't know if Gus Malzahn has really ever had a little running back on his team like him.
And at times he just seemed like if he could get a little bit of space, he kind of had that AK in him where he was just that track, that really fast sprinter. Johnny Richardson could be an exciting. And one other guy and this is a crowded running back room. We could talk for a long time about it. But a guy that was injured all last season, I believe he hurt his Achilles before the season started. I'm not exactly sure, but Trillian Coles was a guy that had a lot of promise, and he didn't play much his freshman year, but he seemed to be a prospect that could contribute. And who knows what he's going to be coming back from this injury of, and he might be a guy that makes an impact as well. I mean, one thing that Roger just talked about, there's a number one, there's a number two. I don't think the running back position seems wide open right now.
Open,
we have no idea. Who's going to emerge?
Yeah, I don't know that it's going to be Bentavious Thompson. I wouldn't be shocked if it's not.
Yeah.
Just because there's some other guys coming in, especially that are bigger and stouter than him, that I think Gus Malzahn, would be interested in. RJ Harvey, though, is probably the largest one of the guys besides Bentavious right now. Mm-hmm. So. There's some names.
Well, you've got
on here.
Isaiah Bowser coming in too.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. Is
that the guy from Northwestern, the transfer?
That's one of the guys that I was saying is coming in later, and then there's the guy from Auburn as well.
It's a crowded room.
Richardson,
very crowded room. Yeah. So there's going to be a couple of Richardsons in there. There's a Forte kid that I don't even know about. Looks like he transferred from Walsh. So that is
might be a walk-on. I hadn't heard of him.
Sounds like a walk-on to me.
Yeah, Jawan Forte.
Interesting.
Don't know anything about him from Youngstown, Ohio. Walsh is I believe, are they an Ivy League school?
No, I hadn't heard of them.
Or they're in one of those weird ones. I think I've seen, they may be an FCS team. But
or NAIA maybe? I don't know.
I think they're an FCS team, and they have like a bulldog as their mascot.
Okay.
I don't know. I remember seeing that logo. It popped into my head. So got some freshman quarterbacks this year as well. The quarterback room, there's quite a few guys in that as well, even with the guys that we're missing that transferred out this year. There's still 5 quarterbacks. Mikey Keene, and then Parker Navarro. And what's interesting is they're still listing these guys because of that COVID-19 season last year. They're still listing them as Parker Navarro, like as a freshman, as a true freshman.
I wonder, though, if they just wait till the end of the school year
now
to
they
make
usually, because this
is
the 2021 roster.
Oh, okay.
So
well, maybe not.
It seems like they haven't bumped anybody up because – let's see here. Dylan Gabriel still listed as a true sophomore.
Okay.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
In a way, just because, there's certain guys that we want to really be around here for a while, like Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
He actually has a true 5th year if he wants to use it.
For sure.
And everybody else does. So the guys that were young. So, all right. What about, the defensive line, obviously, that's exciting because we got Big Cat Bryant coming in, and I still think that he's going to set the American on fire.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he might just be a little much for the American. I think he's
I'm excited about it.
I think he's going to run wild. So, I don't know. He did really well
with another year under him too, and Drop coming back. I'm interested to see what Drop can do because he had a lot of hype coming in, and last year he just didn't do as well.
Who's Drop?
So.
That's
Tremont Morris Brash.
Okay, I just wanted you, because the listeners may not know who Drop is.
we gotta say their real names.
We should probably use their real names.
And don't forget Kalia Davis as well. Opted out last year, coming back.
All right, gonna take a break. We'll be right back on Knightline at Night.
And now back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Knightline at Night, live from the Dever Team Studios. This is Andrew Phegley, brought to you by Chad Barr Law. Got Big Ben Stout here with me and Roger Phipps. We're talking a little bit about football the last segment there. I wanted to play this clip. I got 2 clips, actually, that I want to get through here really quick. This is Gus talking about Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback.
I'm real impressed with him. He's got a great skill set, and he's got a really good attitude. And I'm glad he's our quarterback. So it's going to allow us to do some really good stuff, I think, once fall gets here. Still,
I think that he's probably one of the best quarterbacks that Gus Malzahn has ever had. So we'll see. And then this one is a little bit of a longer one, and it's Gus talking about the transfer portal success and how it's changed college football.
I think most players and probably even coaches know that something special is going to happen here and is going on here. And really the foundation's been built, like I've said before, with the players and the coaches have been here. So it's really set up for that next step. And I really believe that, most players around the country know that and would like to be a part of something special. So it changed the landscape of college football recruiting, and I think you'll see more and more of that. And so you got to be strategic. And you got to plan ahead, and roster management is more of a challenge now than ever before. So you kind of got to predict a little bit of the future. But it starts first with your players, the players that you got, and making sure they're taken care of and make sure you're developing them as best you can.
All right, just wanted to make sure I got those clips out there, but we need to do our Tijuana Flats hot take of the week real quick here, and we only got a couple minutes. So here we go. Welcome to the Tijuana Flats hot take of the week. Visit TijuanaFlats.com for takeout or delivery, or visit your local Tijuana Flats. Tex-Mex for everyone. All right, we're all dancing here. Go ahead, Ben, real quick. What's your Tijuana Flats hot take of the week?
All right, my hot take, and this is speculation, no inside information, but I am going to say that Brandon Mahan will come back for another year in a UCF uniform. I think I just have this gut feeling that he didn't finish the season the way he wants, and he's going to come back and join these guys again for another run.
All right, Roger.
All right, for my hot take this week, Diamond Battles will be next year's AAC Player of the Year, assuming she comes back from her injuries, which she should. So I am looking for Diamond to kill it next year.
All righty, and I'm going to do a women's basketball one as well, which is a little odd for me, but I'm going to say that these girls have a really great season next year. Just going off of what they've got going this year, and they go deep into the tournament. Not only have one win, but they go deep in. I feel like this team, with who's coming back and what they've got, and just the development that Coach Abe is doing with these players, they get it done. And I think that will be incredibly exciting.
The way they play defense, I mean, they're going to be in a lot of games, that's for sure.
Yeah.
If they can turn the offense up, they'll be in good shape.
Yeah, and the American, it's a little easier now without Connecticut in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time for some new teams to do some stuff. And I think UCF wants to be one of those, especially if that other school is doing well over there.
That's right, and they don't seem to be going anywhere either. It seems like UCF, USF, maybe Houston are going to be battling it out for years to come.
But that's good.
It's going to be great. Yeah,
it's great for the rivalry and everything else. So.
And a two-bid league, which is the important part.
Yeah, absolutely. Did the other school over there win their game? I think they did.
They did win their game.
They're still in.
They're still in.
Oh,
yep.
wow.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's kind of a bummer. It's good for the league. It is good for the conference, but we don't really wish anything good on.
No, not really.
It's an RPI booster and gets us some tourney credits, which helps out the league.
Very quickly on the league, on the men's side, Cincinnati and our non-friends from the West are basically taking on water. USF has had over 7 players. I think 7 players actually enter the transfer portal since the end of the year. They've got a little bit of a problem going on over there, so that's good.
Okay. All right, well, that's going to do it for us. We will be back next week, the same time, same station. Go Knights.
Charge on.
Charge on.